Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mackenzie and I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom to 4 kids. And today I want to share with you all of the things in our homeschool that has maybe changed from our original plan from the beginning of the year. So this is going to be kind of like our mid-year checkup. I'm just going to go over everything that maybe is working and what isn't working and what we've changed. And so I'm excited to show you kind of how our homeschool has evolved since the start of the school year. Like always, everything that I'm mentioning today is going to be linked down below for your convenience. Also, I am going to link videos to curriculums that I have reviewed down below as well, so that if you want more information on those, that's going to be down below as well. So our homeschool is constantly evolving. It's always changing. There has never been a homeschool year where the end of the school year looked like how we expected it to look at the beginning of the year. That never happens at our house. So we just are always changing things. Our moods change. I just make sure that I plan to be flexible in that area of our homeschool. So the beginning of this school year, like our first half of the school year, was actually completely different than I expected it to. And that happened shortly after even starting homeschool. And that was due to the fact that we had some tutoring in our home to help with some learning disabilities at our house. And I do actually think that the tutoring was helping, but it was making it so that we couldn't do a lot of the homeschool plans that we had originally planned on because it took so much time out of the day. This tutoring took an hour of our school day, and so for me, I was just thinking, okay, what can we take out of our day? What hours worth of school can we take out and still feel like we're making progress in the year? For me, since this tutoring was an hour and so was morning time, I took out morning time. And it was a disaster. Morning time is really important to me, but not only to me, but it's important to my kids because morning time is where we're getting all of the enrichment stuff in. It's all of the beauty in our homeschool, I feel like. So, we weren't able to do our read alouds. We weren't able to do our Teach Me Health and Homeopathy. We weren't able to do Story of the World. There was so much that we couldn't do. And those are curriculums that my kids really look forward to, as well as like art projects and science experiments. We were going to a co-op once a week, but before we did tutoring, we were doing that stuff in our home as well. And it was making homeschool just really dreadful. Not only was homeschooling dreadful, but the tutoring was dreadful too. And we had to do it every day. It was pretty miserable. And so I would say the tutoring, it was helping my daughter, but at the same time, it was causing a lot of emotional distress, and it was taking up so much mental capacity that she couldn't do like her math and her language arts. And those were the two things that I kept in because, of course, those are the bare minimum things that you get in the day, right? Like when you're too busy to do all the other things, at least you have to do like your science and your language arts, which I understand that when you have to do it periodically, but when it's every day because you have to do this tutoring every day, it made homeschool just miserable. So I just weighed like the pros and cons of our tutoring, and I just decided, yes, it's probably helping, but it's causing a lot more damage than what it's helping. So I decided just to stop the tutoring and bring in all of those things that we loved in the beginning. And it has, like, we've only been doing this for a week since Christmas break, and it has just brought all that joy back. It's been so great. So I learned a lesson in this, that even if I feel like my kids are going to maybe not keep up academically, which it's kind of silly for me to think that, because morning time and the enrichment stuff really does teach your kids so much, and it keeps them excited to learn, which I feel like is almost more important than the learning itself. So anyways, so that was a long explanation of why so many things didn't work out for us this first half of the year. But I think that the second half of the year will actually look a lot more like I expected the first half to look like. So I'm going to start with what didn't work, what did work for my kindergartner. at the beginning of the year, I was planning on doing these handwriting sheets and they're working great. So we're gonna keep doing that. I just ordered this, I think, off of like Teachers Pay Teachers, and you can edit it. And so he writes his name several times. And then something else that I really love is these sheets where you can put papers in here, and he just uses dry erase markers to write his letters. And if you can't tell, my voice is like super scratchy. I'm gonna have to like edit out all my coughing in this video, but we were sick over Christmas break, probably along with the rest of the world. I feel like everybody was sick during that time. So I sound a little raspy today, but yes, this is working great. He likes it. He likes that and this just like all rubs off really easily, but he likes to use the Expo marker on here, which I think is really good for when you're learning to write too, because it just glides more smoothly across the paper. So we're gonna keep doing that, and I'm going to link these down below because you can use these for so many different things, and I love things like that. Something else that I was planning on using with clay that we are continuing to use, and it's worked great, is All About Reading. So I always say good things about All About Reading because it has just been so fun for our family. We are a family that we don't really love to sit down and do the book work all day long. And I know that there are some kids out there that are totally fine with book work. My kids like more hands-on activities. And so this is a way to make reading more fun. And it has hands-on activities. It has fun readers with colorful pictures and stuff. And it's worked really well for my kindergartner. So we're gonna continue to use All About Reading with him. Okay, I'm about to share my first flop. So we were planning on using 5 in a row. And this is one of those things that we had to cut out because of the tutoring. And I've always wanted to consistently use this in our homeschool, and I haven't gotten around to it yet. And I've had this for like 3 or 4 years. So hopefully soon we can work this into our schedule. I think now that we're starting to have more time in our homeschool to add in more things that we love, I'll probably be able to designate a certain day of the week to do this. But I love 5 in a row. I will have to do a separate video just on 5 in a row. We have used it like periodically here and there, but never consistently. But I wish that we could use it more consistently in our house. They're just little like weekly lessons that go along with picture books, and they go into, there's like science lessons, history lessons, geography lessons, language arts lessons, but it's not its own full curriculum on its own. It's more a supplement. So I'm really sad that we had to cut this out, but hopefully I will be able to find a way to wiggle this into our school. Okay, another flop was using the Good and the Beautiful for my kindergartner. And the reason why it was a flop was not because it wasn't working well for him. It was a hard curriculum to use to teach him when I have 2 other students to teach. So I wanted something that was quicker, something maybe a little bit more independent, even though he's in kindergarten. I know it's not gonna be super independent. I'm gonna have to teach him, but I want it to be quicker, bite-sized lessons, and something where I can show him and then leave him and let him be. And so this is the math curriculum that we always get bored with math and we want to move on to something different because, you know, I have like those rose-colored glasses on when I see other things and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be so much better. And then I try it and I'm like, what I had was actually pretty good. And so I keep doing this with Math UC with all my kids. But so we stopped using the Good and the Beautiful. We're using Primer, Math UC, and it is working great. My son loves using the blocks that come with this curriculum. If you want to learn more about Math UC, I have an extensive review and flip through of Math UC, and I will link that down below. So go check it out if you're interested in Math UC. It's been really good for my family. Yeah, it's been a good thing. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to my 2nd grader and the things that I had planned for her. So for her, we were using the Good and the Beautiful handwriting, and that was working great. She finished it. She was on just level 1. And after level 1, I bought level 2, and which is really good, and we like level 2 a lot, and that's been working out awesome. But I found this copy work, and it has Aesop's Fables in here. So she's copying Aesop's Fables, and it also has the fable in here. And the reason why I was so drawn to this, my 2nd grader was having a hard time narrating the read alouds back to me when I was reading aloud from like Ambleside or whatever book it was. She was having kind of a harder time. Ambleside has kind of like an older language, so that was especially hard for her. Newer books are easier for her to narrate back, but it's still a little lacking. And so when I found this, I knew it would be great because it has the story, the Aesop story, and I read this to her, and I'll even stop after like a paragraph. I'll ask her what's happening and she'll tell me. But then she can write the fable. So she traces it and then she writes it. And so that has been really good. I'm really glad that we found this. So I feel like I always do like our narrations together with the family, the read alouds, and then I go in between each child and have them narrate. But I think this will be good because then I can focus on just her with her narrations in more of like bite-sized pieces. So I'm really excited about this. We've been using it. She likes it. And so I don't see us moving from this, but we'll see. Who knows? For now, it's working great. We are using All About Reading with her, and it is still working awesome. She loves it so much, and she has made it very clear to me that we cannot move on to any other reading program. So we are in with All About Reading for the long haul, and she loves it. She's been working through it really well, and it's been all positive. Okay, so another flop this year, which I'm not too happy about. Brave Writer. We were planning on using Brave Writer for handwriting for my oldest two girls, and with the tutoring, this was another thing that we had to cut out, and another thing that my kids really love to do. And so I feel bad because I really had to cut out all the things that they look forward to in our homeschool, and I am hoping to fit this in some way. So instead of using this, for now, I have decided to use Write Shop. We have been using this, we had used it in the past, and it was really good. My kids really liked it. I feel like they learned a lot, and it's in a very gentle, fun way. Like I said, it has to be fun for my kids. They can't just sit there and do worksheets or have something be like, okay, write about this experience and have them write. Like, they will not do that. So they almost have to be tricked into writing. And so this has a lot of fun activities that require writing, and it has made it a lot easier for them to do that. And we still do like written narrations and dictations, but I did feel like with my children that they just needed something a little bit more structured just to kind of teach them, okay, this is how writing goes. And when I feel like they have their feet under them a little bit, I think we'll probably just go straight to just written narrations and dictations and things like that. But for now, we're having fun with Write Shop. I think when we complete Write Shop this summer, so I'm hoping to complete this before the summer, and then this summer work on partnership writing because we just love Brave Writer. I can't skip over this. So we're gonna do this summer. Okay, another flop. We were planning on teaching textbooks for my daughter for her math, and it just wasn't going very well. She didn't love it. She wasn't learning a lot, and I just feel like there's something with their program where if you click the next button, like they have like a arrow to the next screen, and then they have a go button, and sometimes they hit the arrow, which doesn't save their answer. So it's just been kind of, it's something silly, but it has made it hard to do it. And so instead of doing that with my daughter, this is for all of my kids, she is using Math-U-See, and it's been good. We're going to keep using it. I'm glad that we got this and that she was able to switch from teaching textbooks over to this pretty easily, and it's been a good thing. Another fail this year with curriculum is All About Spelling with my middle daughter. She was supposed to do All About Spelling this year, and obviously with everything, I just didn't have time on top of All About Reading to fit this in. And honestly, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to open this up. You can see we haven't even opened it. I'm not sure we're even going to get started on that this year. I think we're just gonna stick with copy work for now and kind of see how her spelling goes after she continues to learn to read. Once she's reading fluently and after she's been reading fluently for a few years, that's when I'm gonna like check back in on her handwriting and, or not her handwriting, but her spelling to see how things are going. And if I still feel like she needs it, then we'll pull this out and we'll go through it at the pace that she needs to. But for now, I don't want to overburden her or me with having to fit spelling in. For my oldest daughter, who is in 4th grade, I got her this at the beginning of the year to practice her handwriting. And she pulls this out every once in a while, but this is not like her set in stone handwriting. This is mostly when I need her to do independent work. Usually for handwriting, I'll just have her do her copy work and that will be her handwriting. So we don't really use this a whole lot, but we pull it out every now and then. Okay, so we had a huge accomplishment this year. So that is like the icing on the cake or the cherry on top after everything that was kind of hard this year. My oldest daughter, we have been working through All About Reading the whole, like all of our homeschool career since she was in kindergarten. And this year, like she just finished All About Reading 4, and that's like a huge accomplishment, like huge. She is so excited. Like I don't even know what to do with her now because we spent so much time every day reading and having her read out loud to me. So I don't know if I'm going to get her a language arts program. I think for now with her, I'm just going to continue to do this with my oldest and my middle child and just put them together and have them do this because these are just really fun. For her language arts, while I'm working with my 2nd grader with her All About Reading, I'm gonna have my 4th grader go into her room and listen to the Ambleside schedule on audio. And then I'm gonna give her the books because we have books as well, and she's going to follow along in her book. Listens to the audio. I'm even okay if she's building Legos while she listens. But after she listens, I'm gonna have her do her narration on her computer. It has a voice to text feature on there. And so I'm just gonna have her narrate to the computer as it types it out. And then we're gonna take that and we're gonna edit it because it doesn't add in like periods and capitals and things. And so we're gonna go through that and just edit her paper so that it makes sense. So that's gonna be like the majority of her language arts for now until I feel like we need to do something different. But I think between that and Write Shop, I think we'll have our bases covered. Oh, there is one more thing that I have added in since we finished All About Reading and we're focusing more on writing and it's been working so well. I'm so excited. Okay. It is Fix It Grammar. I've heard a lot about Fix It Grammar and I was just kind of hesitant to use it because it does like show the mistakes in front of them and I don't really want them to see the mistakes, but they have been doing so well with this and it's only a couple minutes a day, really. It doesn't take long at all. And so it's pretty simple. They just have this page. So this is basically her grammar instruction. Every day she tries to find, like it has one vocabulary word and we talk about it if they don't know what it is. Right now they've already known all of the words in here. And then what's this? Nouns. So we talked about nouns and then they put N above all of the nouns and then they'll find a capital and an ending mark. And this is just the very beginning of the book. So it actually goes into quite a bit more depth as you go on. This is like the first week, but then after they correct it, they write it correctly down here. So they are getting copy work in on this. This has been really nice. It's nice because it's been independent. There's one lesson that I teach to them each week and they listen to their lesson and then the next 3 days they're able to take it out and just work on it on their own while I'm working with another child. And this is something that we're going to continue to do this year. Okay, I went back and I watched my video of all of the curriculum that I used for my 4th grader and I was like surprised that I had that I picked The Good and the Beautiful for her just because I feel like The Good and the Beautiful, it's like so cute, you know, the curriculum's just cute and I love the stories, but it's just so much work for the teacher. I feel like I have to sit there and I have to teach them, and then even in the review, she can't really do it on her own. And so that didn't last very long. But I would say for 3rd grade, the musical multiplication, that's what helped her learn her times tables. So I'm so grateful that we got that curriculum and that she used musical multiplication to learn her multiplication, because it worked. And we had tried memorizing them for like a whole year and it wasn't working. So I wouldn't say that The Good and the Beautiful was really a flop because of the musical multiplication. So it kind of worked and it didn't at the same time, but I am glad that we went through that experience and that she was able to learn her multiplication with musical multiplication. But shortly after the school year started, we stopped using the workbook, just started listening to musical multiplication, and had her use Matthew C's Gamma. And we finished that, and now she is just moving on to Delta Matthew C, and it has been really good. It's nice because she can do it on her own. It's got the video lessons. It doesn't require a whole lot from me, but I can go and check up on her and help her when she needs it. So this has worked really well, and we're going to continue to use this for her math. So the partnership writing, like I said with my other daughter, it was kind of a flop. We were able to do partnership writing, but we were always able to consistently do our darts, and that's what we used for our language arts. On top of oral narration and written narration, the darts have been so good. The Brave Writer darts. This is a book that we are reading and it has a dart, but this is a book that is not in this year's lineup for the darts, but we traded out one of the other titles for this one. And you guys, the darts are so good. I mean, I would say that this probably passes for twaddle, but these stories, they're so good. And I feel like sometimes it is good to have more of a leisurely read. So we do use a lot of Ambleside. We also use the Well-Educated Heart. We will pull reading books from the Well-Educated Heart, which is a big resource of online books as well. And so we will listen to those, and that is probably the majority of like where we get all of our enrichment from. But we also do read alouds from the darts, and they are so good. I don't think we can pull them away from our homeschool, so we won't. I am enjoying reading this book, and I am sad that it's almost over, but I just know that there will be another dart for the next month, and it will be a good book too. So this has been a big hit for this year. Okay, so what worked and what didn't for our family subjects? Well, I kind of already told you that all of our family subjects kind of flopped because we couldn't really do them, and it was very sad and depressing. We were planning on learning states and capitals this year, and as you could guess, this was another flop, and I'm not too happy about it, but at the same time, I know that summer will be coming, and when summer's here, we can focus on states and capitals. I'm going to do a separate video on my summer school plans because I'm already thinking about those things, but I don't want to skip over this, and so I think I'm just going to pass this on to our summer plans. Okay, and then as far as Teach Me Health and Homeopathy goes, it was a flop because we had to take it out, and my kids were so sad about it, but we have brought it back in, and it has been a huge hit, and it's been so fun, and I'm so glad that we're able to do this, and I feel like the kids are just absorbing the information so well. I feel like there's a lot of curriculum that's fun out there, but then the kids don't retain the information that they're learning. They like doing the fun activities, but maybe they're not retaining the information, but that's not true with this. They are learning the information so well, and I am impressed with them, and I love it because these are things that I deeply believe in, and I am just really happy to be able to homeschool and teach my kids these things because this is not something that they would be getting in elementary school. I'm so grateful to be teaching this to my kids, and so glad that it's been working and that they're retaining everything, and we are definitely going to continue to use this throughout the year. Okay, and then for history, we were using Story of the World. It was a flop. We had to stop it, but we have brought it back in, and you know, it's just another one of those things that is make us so happy. So we're going to continue to use Story of the World. I love it so much. It's been really good. I am planning on doing a separate video on just Story of the World because there's a lot to be said about this curriculum, but it's been working really well and my kids really like it, and it's a really great history curriculum. So we're going to continue to use this as well. So I'm glad that this is working for us finally. Then something that I have added in that I didn't expect to ever have added into our homeschool, but I found it and I was like, this is going to be so good for us. And it is Simply Charlotte Mason's Laying Down the Rails. So we're just going to add this into, or we have started adding this into our morning time. And it really only takes like 5 minutes. And so we'll do it like every other day. But they learn different habits, and there's different like stories to go with the habits, or little discussion questions that go with the habits. So like our first one that we're learning about is cleanliness, and it has like a story on cleanliness, and then there's a poem on cleanliness, and then discussion questions on cleanliness. And I would say that it is kind of sinking into my kids that they need to be clean and they need to pick up after themselves before they move on to the next activity, and to take care of their things. So this has been a good one, and we're going to continue to use this in our morning time. Okay, well, that was a lot. I'm just so glad that things are finally starting to work out for our homeschool. Things are starting to come together again, and I think it's going to be a bright second half of our homeschool year. So thank you so much for sticking around and listening to how our homeschool has been going. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I would love to see you here again sometime, and I'll see you next time.